Aloha, folks. The adventure of daily life in Hawaii continues. One more day in reality here in the present. Last night from the driveway we could see the lava fountains coming out of fissure number 8. Again, we're around 20 miles away from that fissure, and so those fountains had to be really spectacular. I think they were going about 200 feet in the air again, or at least that. And so we could see them right here from the carport. Comfort of my house. A little bit unnerving how big they were, I guess. My fears are still, again, that the newest pu'u in the Kilauea Southern Rift is going to end up being in our line of sight in the future, because Halema'uma'u and Pu'u'o'o, which had been active, both are pretty well drained out these days, and it's all happening down there. So here's an image I took from the driveway last night. It's not great. I was focusing through some trees because I didn't want to wander out on the road in the rain. But you get the idea. You can see the fountains coming up. Check this out. Just keep spreading lava, spreading lava. It's the bigger the flow gets, I guess, the more personal it gets to a lot of us. Sooner or later, it starts to hit things that we know intimately. A friend's house, a farm, a road, a piece of shoreline, a park. You know, it starts to get more personal, I guess, the longer it goes on and the bigger it gets. First, maybe it was one guy's house, then it was two guys, you know, but eventually it starts to cover enough area that it becomes a personal situation for the people that live here, even if they're miles away, you know, because it touches so much stuff. So, pretty spectacular, huh? This morning I had a good friend drop by. She was here to harvest mint. I am her mint supplier. And they live, as the crow flies, approximately 3 miles southeast of us. She's 3 miles closer to what's going on. In an area of what's known as Fern Acres. They're down there towards the bottom of it. Well, they're very close in proximity, but wow, what a difference. Here at the very worst, we occasionally smell a little sulfur in the air. I have had one day so far when the winds broke down that I had to close the house. I shut the windows because I didn't want to let that air get inside the house. So we've had, you know, a little bit of rough air, no big deal. Most of the bad air I've been taking in has been because I refuse to stay away from the volcano and I'm going up shooting pictures and breathing sulfur and so on. Down around the house, though, it's, you know, I've seen it this bad in times in the past. This is a volcanic island, you know, and so when things erupt over here, it drifts around, and it gets here. I've had soot on the roof years back and so on. But it's never anything that's really particularly important. Well, they're about 3 miles away, and for the last month, they've been having to shelter in place in the house with the windows closed because of all the gas that's moved in around him. Her boyfriend grows nursery stock. They've had to move nursery stock in under cover. They are actually spraying baking soda and other materials on plant material around the house to keep it from being burned by the acids. We've been measuring rainfall here. That's the easiest way for me to tell how bad it's getting in my area. And so we use litmus strips, collect rainwater, bring it in the morning, you know, measure it up. And so far, the worst acid precipitation we've seen here has been a 6.5 on this property. That's no big deal. That's not at all unusual. You get that across the mainland U.S. frequently. Pure rainwater is a 7. Okay, it's neutral. So 6.5 is slightly acid. But a while back they told me, well, they read a 5 using the same method, and I was stunned. But this morning I was told that they had a 3.5 rainfall in the last 24 hours. I've never seen anything that acid myself. I guess they happen, but that's the first time I ever seen it. And that means that the rain that fell on their house came down at the same pH as red wine. So I guess it's not going to be really toxic to their plants. I figure you can pour red wine on a coffee tree. She says the tea is loving it and the coffee is enjoying it, but other plants are suffering. So I guess it depends on the plant's tolerance to acidity. But I mean, they're just 3 miles away. And they've got to lock themselves in the house. They can't breathe. They're wearing masks in the yard. And so it really depends on where you're at. Well, yesterday, then, we had guests from up in Hamakua. The Hamakua area, they're up in Hanaka'a. They've had almost no effect from this. They're way up the coast. They get trade wind in there all the time. Too far away from it, and so to them it's like, wow, they came here and they said, oh, we smell sulfur in the air. I said, yeah, you're right. Anyway, had a good time with them. So Ellen and I said after they left, well, let's continue having fun today. Let's go to Hilo and, you know, get some lunch and go shopping a little. So we drove down to Hilo, and I really don't get down there that often. I'm pretty self-sufficient up here, and so I don't go to town any more than I need to. So that'd be the first time I've been there in well over a week, maybe 2 weeks. Anyway, we went to one of our favorite little sushi places that has a lunch special. $9 for a plate full of sushi and some soup. Can't beat it. Because the price is good, it's usually crowded. If you come in there around lunchtime, we arrived I think about 12:10 or so, usually you're lucky if you can find a table. Well, I found 4 parking places on Kilauea Avenue right out front of the restaurant. I should have suspected something was funny. Went inside, and there was one guy at one table. That was a mind blower. Okay, so I assumed that a lot of the people that fill the place generally must be tourists, and they're not here. Plus, I guess the uncertainty of what's going to come down and the impact and so on, it's kept people from going out to lunch, I guess, here locally. Well, by the time we were done eating, there were at least 4 tables filled in the restaurant, but that's only partial capacity. Nothing like I've ever seen there before. So then we turned around and got some baked goods, and they were good baked goods too. I'm going to have to do a special on them. Wow, cinnamon rolls. Ooh, God, they're good cinnamon rolls. Anyway, we went up to Costules, which locally, you guys know this place. The rest of y'all, if you don't, it's something like a small Costco. Similar type place. Large quantities, you know, you get to buy your paste picante in 55-gallon drums, you know, just like Costco. Anyway, so I pulled in the parking lot, and I could park anywhere. It was raining, and usually I got to walk through the rain. Well, no, I could park right next to the building. Well, that's weird. Went inside. The ladies at the cash registers that usually have lines are standing around talking to each other. Oh, we shopped. I went through the counters, and I asked her, I said, geez, I've never seen it. What's going on? She says, it's the volcano. I go, well, you don't get tourists at Costules. She says, well, no, people are so disturbed and they're relocating and going to shelters. And no one wants to buy anything in a big container because they don't know whether they're going to have to move it or leave it behind. People are eating day to day and living day to day because of all this. Oh, man. Whew. Well, you know, I kind of knew it was affecting me here in the nursery. I haven't hardly sold much anything out of the nursery for the last 2 weeks. I usually get, you know, multiple customers all week long is typical. And that's why I ran the video. And currently I do have some people on the mainland asking for stuff, and I'll ship it to them. A footnote on that, though. If you live in Louisiana, Arizona, Texas, or California, I'm sorry, but don't bother contacting me about the nursery stock. They're not going to let it in there. But anywhere else in the U.S., you're okay. Alaska, I'll send you all the coffee plants you want up in Alaska. Just ask me. Past that, though, it has been slow, and I want to thank the folks that did come by in response to that video. I just had a nice old auntie come by here and picked up some stuff. But I digress. I heard this morning in the news that the lava had crossed 132 and at the 3-mile marker. And not knowing exactly where the 3-mile marker was, but having a pretty good idea, I suddenly became very worried for my friend Greg Adams. Greg is a local farmer here who works down in that region. Some of my old videos show his dragon fruit farm. All those dragon fruit farm videos, that's Greg's place. And later you'll see exotic tree videos, and those exotic trees, again, are the business Greg later went into after dragon fruit, same place. And I know he's been in trouble. He's been helping people get their livestock out. He's moved his tractors off the farm. He's moved the animals off the farm. Most of his possessions that were important have been packed in his truck and ready to go, because it was getting very close to him. But last night when it crossed Highway 3 or Highway 132 at the 3-mile marker, it went right through his front gate. Yeah, Greg's farm went under the lava last night. He's out of there. He left 2 days before because he saw it was coming. He's a smart guy. Unlike some of these folks that are actually wanting to hunker down in place and not move for some reason, because you can always replace property. You can't replace a life. And people are getting trapped in there, and they're endangering the first responders who have to go in and try to save them. And so, you know, I appeal to anybody, if you're down there, it's not worth it. Don't endanger everybody else and get out. It's bound to end eventually. But Greg, as I said, he got out, and so I called him this morning. I was worried. I'd called him a few times lately, but he's been so busy and been returning. Well, this morning he did call back, and I actually do have a fairly crummy video of Greg and I on the telephone. Hopefully, when I edit this, we'll be able to hear what he's saying enough, because he gave me an on the spot. And the one thing about the whole issue, that I mean, I pick my friends, and Greg has been a good friend because I admire him. There's a lot about this man that I respect. And this proves it again, because, you know, it might take him a little bit of beer, but he's letting go of it. He says, man, it's just stuff. You know, I ain't going to worry. And he's moving on already, and he's gone into Pahoa, and he's working with the folks there to try to help other people. He's to keep his mind off what happened to him. He's there helping. I mean, it's just wonderful. So I'm going to let that roll here, and you can listen to Greg's story. Hopefully you can hear it well. Okay, so you're saying it was like last night it went across 132 and entered by your gate then, or was this
in the afternoon? It was in the afternoon. So where I rested this horse, which was down the road about a mile. You know, and I rescue. I was just a transporter, but I had to get in there, and I had to get an escort up there. So I did that about 4 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
And the guy had already showed me the picture, and that was taken, I assume, an hour or two earlier, right? So, we got the horse out, and then, man, I guess maybe 2 or 3 hours later, that whole area where I was on the road was covered, right?
Oh.
It was done, and then they started giving the alerts. Warning, if you are down in beach lot or vacation land, you need to get out now, okay? Because if you stay there, we may not be able to rescue you.
So let me see now. So you've been all this time though until yesterday on the farm, yeah?
No, I was told to evacuate 2 nights ago.
Ah, okay.
My DOT guys, you know, actually Dale and R came up the driveway, but I was in communication with. They knew I was there, right? You know, and I'm not stupid.
I know. hey, baby.
Leave, right?
Maybe drunk, but not stupid, right? You know, crazy, yeah, not stupid.
Exactly. So what I did was when they said leave, I said okay, and I loaded up whatever. I mean, I was already in pre-go mode in regards to I had my bags packed and all that. And the trailer was loaded with whatever minuscule shit I had. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? At that point, it's only stuff.
Yeah.
Right. but you do need clothes, and you do need a bed to sleep in, and may not be bad to sit down, so a couch, right? That's basically it. You know, washer and dryer, solar system, that, right? You need a house for that. There's no house, no need solar hut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I could have peeled all that shit off the wall. What's the point? You know, what's the point?
Yeah, I know. I don't imagine what. That's a dumb question right now, I guess. But what kind of insurance did you have? Anything, man?
Just liability. You know, liability.
Yeah.
You know, I have unpermitted structure, so you can insure that.
Yeah, you can't do nothing.
Never afford crop insurance. Who could afford that?
Well, you know, I'm wondering though. That means you did. You left all the trees behind and all that stuff, right? It's still always there.
Yeah, I was gonna start schlepping that. So you need a nursery for that if you start moving that stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I know. Although, you know, you could have called me. I'm stupid enough. I'd have gone down and helped you move it up here or anywhere else. But whatever, it's over. Don't worry.
Again, it fell into the stuff list.
Yeah.
Yeah, inventory, but it's inventory that there's going to be programs. There'll be programs.
Yeah.
I already did something that they got.
Yeah.
3%, low interest loans to farmers, and because I got an ag loan, I am quote a known farmer, right?
Yeah, you'll be good. You'll be good. You know.
Yeah, I fit the bill on all of that disaster relief, whatever that.
Yeah.
Who knows what FEMA's going to come in? I'll tell you what though, I'll be smelling out grants before I take any loan money.
You play the system well, sir. You do well with this system, I tell you.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, man. You know, I mean, I have no time to be devastated, right? I've already got to move. I've already got to move forward, right? So now I'm going to Power Ready, and I was just down at the corner. They got a what would you call it? Devastation corner down at Pahoa where you can get food and coffee and all that shit. So that's where all the newscasts are being broadcast for the most part.
Yeah.
Right on that, So I'm down there, and then I don't know if you've seen this guy eat kaika.
Yeah. Very impressive dude, man. It's like he stepped into this whole thing, didn't he?
Oh yeah, no, he's badass, man. As far as a musician, he's kick ass. Right? He's a good brother. So was up there, and so now I'm clicked into. I have to help other people, and if we need critters to get out, just let me know. I got the horse trailer, we'll do that. So that's kind of where I'm going to try to focus on.
Cool.
Is assisting other people at this moment. Right? I'm heading up to North Kulani right now because I got to do something. I got one dog down in Hilo. She's right in the center of Hilo. I got some friends watching her. She's freaking out. I got the other one in the truck here. I ran him over about 7 days ago, right? My 6-month-old puppy. I had to take him to Waimea for a $1,800 surgery. Like that, in the middle of all of this shit.
Holy balls.
So we got him. He's with me most of the time. I look at this and I go, really? What PTS button do you want me to press now? Yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah. Oh man.
So my motto is that all you got?
Good one. I've used this one before myself. It helps.
Right.
It helps. Come on. Yeah.
Shitty. So anyway, just in the loop. Now I got to turn my attention to assistance now because I'm Power Ready, right? I got to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
So it might as well be towards the good. You know what I mean?
I knew there was something about.
Otherwise, you sit there and lament.
Sure.
Rhymes with ferment. And that's no good.
Yeah, right. You only ferment if it's a GMO, dude.
Don't worry. I I keep my adult beverages handy at all times.
Yeah, right. Oh, I knew there was something about you I admired. That's a good place to be, dude. I really appreciate it. That's what it's for. It's what it's for, you know? Oh, man.
It's sustenance because I can't eat. I haven't eaten in a couple of days. I just can't stomach the thought of even eating.
Wow.
But those time loggers slide down pretty good, I think.
Hey, beer is food. Yeah.
It's kept me healthy for 57 years.
Yeah.
And I feel good about it.
Oh, that's
so,
good.
I think it corrects my pH imbalance.
Oh boy, what a thing! Oh man, I'm so sorry. You know what the hell to say. I'm glad to hear you're still there and you're. Pretty much there. You have it at the moment. There's been more eruptions in the park. There's been more earthquakes, you know, and blah blah. Nothing really significant. It's the flows down in the southeast that are really causing the problem, and this is becoming, even for me at a distance where I'm safe, it's becoming personal, because it's already 2 of my friends have lost their property, okay, because of it, and so that's very close to me, and both of them long-time friends, and also though, places. For me, I mean, it's selfish, maybe, you know, but places that I love, like, you know, Kapoho out there, and Waipae, and Mackenzie State Park, and just roads, and, you know, I don't know what it looks like down there because I am staying out of the area. I don't want to get in anybody's way. They don't need me, and so I really don't know what all this looks like. You've seen as much of it in the news as I have. When it finally stops, I will be entering to look at the damage, but I don't think it's going to look even close to what I remember. And that was a very, very beautiful location that I frequented a lot. A lot of state parks there, beautiful marine preserves on the Waipae tide pools, you know, Kapoho Bay, with decent place to go and swim and enjoy the water. Nobody's mentioned the Alahani hot ponds yet, but right now you can't get to them anymore. It's closed off, I guess, going both ways from the lava flows, and even if they survive this, it's going to be a while before anybody can even go down and soak in the hot ponds. It's starting to get really personal here. For me, it's not about property, though. Property's good. So aloha, you have a wonderful day. And right now, they're probably not exaggerating it in the national news. Hang loose.